What's up, guys, and welcome back to PKG, or if you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Evan, and today I'm going to be doing a Mega video about with the new Legends game coming out, the ZA Legends game. I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about what Megas would be kind of cool to bring in, and today we're going to talk about Gen 1 specifically. So these are all kind of just like my opinions and what I've kind of seen online, and just kind of like say talking with Mike, seeing what his thoughts are about it. And yeah, so let's get right into it. First one that I've kind of thought about, and this is kind of interesting because with Beedrill getting a Mega originally, I think Butterfree would be a really cool one to get a Mega. I know he's got a Gigantamax, which I think was them trying to like even it out. But I find with Gigantamax, it was kind of like a weird situation where it's not as even in terms of equality. So I just think it kind of works out nicely. Looking kind of at the Butterfree, I think the design of the Gigantamax is pretty cool. So maybe the design of the Mega could look something similar, or maybe make it completely different. Not entirely sure how they would design it, but I think the Gigantamax look to it would be a very cool concept. Base stat total originally only has 395, so definitely could use that boost. The way I would kind of shape it would be a big boost to special attack and special defense. Everything else kind of is just like medium kind of boosts, not really a whole lot going on. So special attack, I'd go to like 115, special defense up to 100. So just kind of like a generic boost to each stat. Typings, I would probably make it a bug psychic, just because with it having such a wide move pool with psychic type attacks, I think that would be kind of a cool twist to it. Ability, I kept levitate just to kind of keep it with like not kept levitate. I gave him levitate because I thought it would be, he still has wings, he's still flying, but we've removed the flying type. Aspect, now that's not something I would necessarily be dead set on keeping, just because ground type moves aren't very effective to him being a bug type. But I also thought a cool idea would be like some sort of effect spore or ability that kind of transpires off of the getting hit and releasing something like a toxic spore or something like that. So that's just number one that I have. The second one would be Arbok. Arbok, it's kind of an interesting one because I felt like he was kind of left out, and similar to Butterfree and Beedrill, Weezing got a regional form. So I thought Arbok could use a little bit of love. Base stat total is 448, so I think definitely getting a boost is pretty big for him. I in terms of stats, I boosted his attack up and his speed up significantly. So I went from 80 speed all the way up to 110. And the rest of his stats, I kind of just kept mediocre again, just kind of up by 10 to 15 in each one. But attack went up to a 120 from 95. I would also add the dark typing. He has a lot of those dark type moves like Crunch and Bite, as well as, what else does he get here? Yeah, Crunch and Bite, especially because when he evolves, he learns Crunch as his main attack. So I thought that would be good to give him that stab. Also get rid of that psychic weakness. And then I would give him the ability Corrosion, just because I feel like if you evolved him, maybe became more of that evil dark type snake. Maybe make him more like Cobra, like big face on his pattern there. And yeah, so that way it's just kind of like a little bit more intimidating through the corrosion aspect. But yeah, so I thought that'd be a cool concept for him. Next is Ninetales. That's one, he has a regional form. So it's tough. This isn't one that I would absolutely be like, he needs one because of that. But I think it would be kind of cool because he has a base stat total of 505. So I definitely think him getting a bit more of a boost would be cool. and you could give it a ghost typing, so being a fire ghost. I know that's always kind of been something people were hoping for and wished for him. I think it would be a really cool idea. And looking at his shiny form, or looking at its shiny form, being that like purpley blue kind of thing, I think that's a really cool concept. So you could kind of make its color similar to that, and kind of just make it, because it's based off of, I can't remember what it's called, but it's based off of that mythical creature, with tails and stuff. So I think that'd be a really cool concept to add into that. And then I would give it the ability Cursed Body. It's not anything crazy. It's not an ability that is super overpowering, but I think it would fit the ghost typing pretty well, especially because the whole story about the tails and stuff, giving it that the curse aspect. But its stats, I gave it quite a bit of boost to special attack. So I went from an 81 to 115. And then its speed, I jumped from 100 to 130. I wanted this thing to be quick, hit hard, kind of get that job done. And for its other stats, I kind of kept it generic, same thing as with all the other ones I've been doing. I didn't increase them by a whole lot. So I just wanted him to be special attacker with lots of speed, decent special defense, and generic from the rest. But yeah. Next is Machamp. We have a Mega Alakazam, a Mega Gengar. So it's kind of like, those are kind of like the group, the Alakazam and the Gengar and those guys there. They're all kind of related in that trade evolution grouping. I know he has a Gigantamax. This is kind of a similar situation with Butterfree. But I think it would kind of be a cool idea. I don't know, maybe give him an extra set of arms, but see what you could do with it. I thought adding the steel typing would be really cool because he gets the access to moves like Bullet Punch, Heavy Slam, and just kind of like giving him some sort of diversity with what he can do. It also eliminates the fairy and psychic type weaknesses, so it gives them a pretty good buff defensively, as well as just a little bit more offensive range. Stat wise, let's see. Stat wise, boosts his attack like crazy. I put it all the way up to 160, so he's going to hit pretty hard. And then defensively, I also boosted both his defense and special defense up to 105, where they were kind of they were at 80 and 85 before that. And HP I boosted significantly. So I want him to be a little bit more tanky to go along with that steel typing, so he can take a lot of hits at the same time, but he's going to hit like a truck right back. And his ability, I would give him Iron Fist. I think it's perfect for him, especially because he punches. That's his whole thing. That's his what's his jam. I know No Guard's a pretty good ability for him, so maybe people would prefer that, but I really like the idea of adding Iron Fist for him. Next, this one's kind of an interesting one, and I've really wanted this for a long time, is Golem. Golem, he has the regional form, and I know a lot of these guys have like the Gigantamax and the regional form, so it's kind of tough to justify how they're set up, or like how to kind of give them more, opposed to some people or some Pokemon that don't get this kind of stuff. But I think a really cool design for him would be getting rid of the ground typing and making it a rock fire. And then for stats, defense and attack, I boosted quite significantly. So defense, I went all the way up to a 170 from the 130 from before, and his attack from a 120 to a 140. All the other types, Spadef got a pretty good boost. I put it up to a 90, but his speed and his HP, or his HP went up to, I put it up to 100, but his speed and his special attack were definitely on the low side. I dropped his special attack just a tiny bit, but I think this is a really cool idea. And I know Colossal is very similar, where it's like a rock fire type, but I think this is just a good idea for him. And design wise, it'd be cool, where it's like the creases and cracks within his kind of shell, I guess, would be like magma or like lava kind of thing. I thought that would be a cool design to it. And then I give it the ability solid rock to kind of lessen the blow from those water and ground type moves, just to make it a little bit more tanky in that regard. Um, so he's not going to totally get destroyed by those 4 times weakness attacks. Um, Next, this is one these are a couple that I'm excited about. I'll kind of put them into one thing, but Nidoking and Nidoqueen. For me, Nidoking is one of my favorites. Easily top 5 for me. I think he's third actually. But I think they both need a significant boost. Super cool designs. I just feel like they're kind of lackluster and they have not a really whole lot going on for them. Base stat totals of 505. And I think a cool idea what you could do, especially with how the Gen 6, like how they're doing, like it's more like a France and kind of setting. What you could do with them is make them, because it's a king and a queen, you could kind of base it off of this whole thing, how you give Nidoking more of a warrior kind of thing. So you give him like more blades, and you make it a poison steel type. So he's a huge attacker. He's aggressive. He's got the blades and stuff. So he can kind of resemble that king-esque kind of thing. And then with Nidoqueen, I thought it'd be cool to give her more of an armor look. Same typing, poison steel, but give her armor. So she's even more bulky. So just 2 sides of the coin where one's super bulky, the other one's super offensive. Nidoking, I'd keep the ability Sheer Force. I just thought that made the most sense for him, especially because a lot of the moves in his pool have a lot of secondary effects. So I thought it would just work really, really well for him. Physical attack gave it a huge boost to 140. And then all of his other stats are okay. I didn't really like defense and special defense. I added quite a bit to them, about a 25-point boost for those. But everything else is just kind of generic. Special attack, I think actually, yeah, I bumped it down to a 60. So I wanted it to really get into that physical attacker. I wanted to get, yeah, more physical attack with that. Nidoqueen, I was actually having some fun with this one when I was planning it. I gave her the ability Mirror Armor, just to kind of match that theme of she's getting armor and more defensive. So her stats, I actually leveled out. So her attack is 92 and special attack is a 75 normally. I boosted both of those up to 100. So you can make it either a special attacker or a physical attacker. And I thought that would kind of be a cool idea where she does have a decent move pool for both of those. So I thought it's like you can now choose how those would work or like how you would build it. Defensively, she doesn't have great defenses actually. She's only got an 87 and 85. So what I did is I boosted both of those up to 110. Again, I wanted it to be super bulky and HP up to a 105 from a 90. Speed, I actually kept it around the same, but yeah, so I made her very even, quite even across the board. I just boosted the defenses and the special attack to kind of make it so she can be a very well-rounded Pokemon to match the theme. So those two, I was having a lot of fun to kind of design, and I think they need a little bit of a boost with those. Next one, Rapidash. I know Rapidash has a form as well, so I get it. A lot of these have forms, so it's kind of hard to justify. But I think a lot of people have always wanted Rapidash to gain this design of being a Pegasus, or a Pegacorn, if you will. I know they kind of turned the regional form into more of a unicorn-esque idea with like a fairy type with the big horn, but I thought it'd be cool to turn Rapidash into a flying fire type to match that Pegasus design. And I gave it the ability aerially, just because looking at Rapidash, obviously it doesn't learn any flying attacks really. Like looking at its move pool right now, it's not super diverse. Bounce, I think, was really the only thing I see. So I thought Aerialate would be really good for her just because she has quite a bit of a range for normal type attacks. So like she's quick attack, takedown, stomp. What else we got here? But anyways, so she has a pretty wide range of normal type attacks. So I thought that would work out well for her. And then stat wise, I boosted her attack just to kind of get because it is a physical attacker. I wanted it to gain a little bit more with that. And then defenses, I boosted them both up to an 85. Speed, I boosted up to a 125. So I want her to be more of a you go quick, you hit a little bit harder, decent defenses, and special attack. You could, but it's more of a physical attacker. But she was a very generic stat boost across the board. But I think the flying Aerialate idea would be a really, really cool concept to add to that. So, because now we have the unicorn and then we have a Pegasus design. Next, we have this is kind of an odd one, Seaking. This one, and I really got a little creative with this one. Originally, I was thinking water poison and making the horn kind of more poisonous and giving it poison touch. But I kind of last minute changed it to a water flying type. I thought maybe making it kind of like a flying fish would be kind of cool. So I added water flying and I kept the ability lightning rod. Just as a defensive, like obviously it gains a quad weakness to electric, but keeping that lightning rod would be huge for him because then he's not going to get destroyed by electric types. He definitely needs the stat boost going from 450 to 550. And I think stat wise, I think I just like it looks like I just boosted physical attack. And I also gave it a decent buff to its special attack. I boosted it by 30 points just because with Seaking being a water type, there's still quite a bit of a special attack move pool for it. What I would also want to do, since I added flying type to it, the only really flying type attacks it has access to are like bounce and peck. I would want to add the ability for it to learn drill peck. And so like drill peck, maybe acrobatics, something along the lines like that. So they add it so that it can have a little bit more ability to use those flying type attacks. Next, we got Starmie. Starmie, I think it just needs a boost. I didn't change a whole lot about it. It's just a water psychic type still. I gave it prism armor, so I thought maybe you could turn it from like make the crystal in the middle of it and kind of spread it out so it looks more crystallized across the entire thing. Looking at its original abilities, it doesn't really have that great of ability. Like natural cure and natural cure is probably the better one. Analytic makes no sense to me just because it is so fast. So what I did is I gave it the ability prism armor just because I thought it matched up the best. Stat boosts. I gave it quite a high special attack at 130, and I boosted its speed quite a bit. Other than that, super generic defenses I boosted because I thought with the prism armor making it more like crystallized, I thought giving it more defense would be kind of cool because it's now a little bit more sturdy. But yeah, pretty I thought it'd be pretty good for Starmie to gain that ability to Mega Evolve, just because I think it needs that. And last one, I know there's been a lot. Gen 1 is kind of my main one that I've been working on. Even though there's a lot of Gen 1s, I thought this one deserved it the most. Sorry, Bryson is having fun over here. He needs to be occupied. But for my final one, I chose Dragonite. I think this is one everybody's kind of wanted. All these other pseudo legendaries like Metagross, Garchomp, and Salamence, they all have their megas. So Dragonite, I think, is an obvious one for this. Obviously, base stat total goes up to a 700, which is a lot. And what I actually did is Dragonite is typically a physical attacker. And what I've done is I raised both its physical and special attacks up to 150 because Dragonite has a lot of special attack or a lot of special attacks. So it learns like Hurricane when it evolves, Hyper Beam, and a lot of the TMs it learns, it's kind of a mixture between physical and special attacks. So I think it could be built both ways, but it's so tough because obviously physical attack is so much higher. So I boosted both of them up to 150 to kind of allow people to choose which one they would prefer. I boosted defense and special defense just ever so slightly to 105 each, just to kind of keep it the same. Speed and HP both went up by about 10. So it was mostly just the attack ability and this, like the attack and special attack that got boosted. Typing and ability, I thought this was a little fun. I made it a dragon water type. I think everybody kind of hoped that would be the case anyway, because with its origins, Dratini and Dragonair, it's kind of like in the water. Some people might like the Dragon Fairy typing because I know Dragonair kind of has that same kind of design that could be potentially a fairy, but I think Dragonite would be perfect if you made it a Dragon Water and then gave it the ability Drizzle, because it automatically sets up the rain. It has Hurricane as an attack, which is perfect because then it never misses. It has access to Thunder. You could give it like an Aqua Tail or a special type of water type attack, and really just have like a really cool combination with it, as well as losing that flying type. Losing the flying type, it's not going to really affect it too much. I just think giving it the water dragon it just makes a lot more sense. But yeah, so those are my thoughts for Gen 1. I promise the next one I do for Gen 2, there's a lot less that I have. So it'll be a much shorter video, but maybe Mike will have to split this up into two. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. I've got a lot going on with that one. And I know a lot of them are regional forms or Gigantamax forms that they all have. But let me know what you think. Let me know if there's a different Pokemon that you would prefer, but also how else you would change some of the ideas I gave. But yeah. Like and subscribe, obviously. We're at 867 last time I checked, and it would really mean a lot. We're trying to get to 1,000 midway through the year. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.